Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Infinite Regression one more time. Look at this place. So sad, cold, lonely, and eternal. But yeah, we're not going to spend all our time here in the Infinite Regression because we have even more Steam Summer Sale games this time. We've done the $10. We've done under 10. We've done under 5. We have done under 2, and now we're doing games that are less than $1. And I know what you're thinking. How much fun is there to be had at under $1? You would be surprised, absolutely surprised, to find out how much fun there is for less than $1. This is my favorite price point. I love games in this category. There are several winners on this list that I'm excited to tell you about. Let's get to it. We start off with 3D RPG. 3D RPG is exactly what it sounds like. It is a pixel-based RPG, but in a 3D world. And so it looks very Minecraftian. It is not Minecraft. It isn't as deep in the gameplay as Minecraft, unfortunately, but there is still a lot of exploring to do, a lot of, different people to meet, characters to build, party to join you, things to explore and do and craft and build within this world. And then you go into these turn-based battles when you meet up with enemies like this guy, and you can see the enemies coming in the field, so you can avoid them or you can go into them, and you can level up and build your character. Now, you can see here mixed reviews. I understand why at a higher price point people might be a little like, well, it's not as good as me. But, are there better games than this? Yeah, sure. There are. I freely admit that. But this is a lot of fun for 99 cents. Less than $1. I had a lot of fun with 3D RPG and highly recommended. 8-Bit Boy. 8-Bit Boy is what it sounds like. It is a loving tribute to 8-bit platforming. And it's really, really well done, really smart. Level design, enemy design, character, power-ups, all the things. And it gets pretty hard, especially in later stages, but it's also super, super fun. And totally a good time. If you like vintage, platformy type games, this is a great one to own. And it is 69 cents, 90% off, my favorite number of cents. Anyway, 8-Bit Boy, it's a really fun action platformer and highly recommended. Then we have Axe Girl. Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. There are things about Axe Girl that feel a bit janky. Like, I don't love the way the main character moves. Like, look at her walk, and look at her, like, weird knee bendiness. Like, I don't necessarily love the way the character sprite moves, which is kind of a big deal, but also kind of not, because the other thing about this game is that it's really fun. The levels are really well designed, the characters, the enemies, everything else about this game is really good. After I reviewed this on my channel, the guy who did the music for this game reached out to me and said thank you for the review. He was really nice, and so that gets another reason to give this thing a thumbs up, is the people who made it are super nice and cool. And it's only 49 cents, 90% off for Axe Girl. Borrow. You will see a million Borrow games at the 49 cent or 99 cent, or how many cents is this one? Like, look at how many Borrow games. Anyway, wait, I'm not on the store page. That's why. Borrow, 49 cents, 90% off. It is a track-based racing game. And A lot of physics goes into this, a lot of learning the track and optimizing the best way around it, and doing multiple laps while you're trying to optimize your path through. And some of these tracks are pretty tough, and it's a lot of fun. It is so much fun playing this little game. And there are lots of different car types and lots of, and a million different expansions. And yeah, you can buy the entire collection for $308. But yeah, you can also get this developer's entire collection, 14 games, for $6. I haven't played the other ones. I have played some of the borrow games, not all of them, but these are very well loved track-based racing games that are just a good time. Bit Blaster XL. This is like Asteroids, classic arcade and, Atari console game that has a ridiculous number of power-ups and ships and unlockables and things, and it just gets super frantic and kind of bullet hellish as you go through. Very frantic gameplay, but it's super fun. It's one of those, high score chasers that'll have you saying like, okay, just one more. And, even though it's just one screen, really simple, sometimes that really simple classic gameplay is what really, really counts in the end. And I really, really like this game. So 49 cents for Bit Blaster XL. Boneless Zombie. I bought this one because it sounded ridiculous, and honestly, I didn't expect it to be good. And it's not, because it's great. Like, it's better than good. It's amazing. It's a really, really fun game that tells you everything you need to know about the game in the title. You are this guy who gets, trapped in this mad scientist lab, and he turns you into a zombie and takes all of your bones. And you are trying to find your way back, collect some bones along the way, and you're trying to reconnect with your girlfriend who still loves you even though you've turned into this boneless zombie. And really, all you can do in this game is you can grab stuff with your hands, you can grab stuff with your feet, and you can sort of flip around. And that's it. Like, the physics are ridiculous in this game, and you're really fighting the environment the entire time. So it's one of those type of, if you've seen Octodad or Human Fall Flat or things like that, it has some of those kind of elements, but it's not just the fighting the physics part of it. It's also the very, very unique thing where you are grappling and moving through these levels, and there are hazards everywhere, and you will die and die and die again, and then somehow, sometimes by the craziest stroke of luck, you'll get a good bounce, and you'll be like, oh my god, I made it through. It's it's an awful lot of fun, and it is only 74 cents. So not even 3/4, and you get all that fun. Breath of Death 7 and Cthulhu Saves the World. This is a twofer. These games come in a 2-pack. These games were made. Now here's the beauty of it. Breath of Death 7, the beginning. Don't look for Breath of Death 1 through 6. They're only released in Japan. They've never been I'm kidding. They've never been released, because these games are classic, awesome, old school RPGs that understand the genre so well. So if you've played the old school Final Fantasies and Dragon Warriors and stuff like that, if you've played those games, these guys have played the ever-loving crap out of those games too, and they know all the tropes and they mess with them and they play with them in hilarious ways, and it makes for an experience that's both hilarious and awesome. Anything that Zeboyd Games makes, I will buy. That's just the way it is, because of how good they are at making these games that both are an excellent example of the type of game that they are, and also poke fun at the type of game that they are without ever losing the plot of, like, let's also make it a really good game. So Breath of Death 7, The Beginning, is, you know, you are, Dem the Skeleton Knight. You are moving your way through this world, trying to save it and whatnot. Even better, Cthulhu saves the world. Cthulhu doesn't like the world. He wants to destroy it. And yet, somehow, he gets put in a position where he has to try and save the world so that he can get his powers back, so that he can destroy it, ultimately, is what he wants to do. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, you get banded together with all these other characters, and you find yourself moving through this world, and once again, hilarious, awesome, incredible example of an old school JRPG, and you get both Breath of Death 7 and Cthulhu Saves the World for 74 cents. That is awesome. These games are so much fun. I love them. Love, love, love. Cyber Badminton 2020. Now, remember that time when aliens came down and took over the world and challenged us to send our best badminton player out, and that they would play us in badminton for the freedom of all humans everywhere? Yeah, of course you remember that. Anyway, it happened on the Atari, is what it looks like. So this really is Atari-looking graphics, but really tight gameplay, really fun, tons of power-ups, and you are always outmatched. So it's constant, frantic, like, how do I make it through this level? How do I beat this guy? And so much fun. So much fun, this game. And it knows what it is, and so it really, you know, puts itself out there as like, haha, you're playing badminton against aliens for the fate of humanity. Isn't that ridiculous? It knows that it's a ridiculous premise, you know. Of course, in all the promo shots, it's got a little like, hey, look at me, I'm the lady that, you know, if you care about that. But 49 cents for a really solid badminton game? What? It's really fun. Really, really fun. Defunct. Now, this is quite possibly the most game that you'll get for 49 cents. Or is it 49 cents? Yeah, 99 cents. Under $1. The most game that you'll get for under $1. Because this one is you are traveling, you're an alien, not an alien, you're a robot who gets left behind on this alien world, and you are speeding your way through, you know, collecting things, and also, you know, trying to make it through these levels as quickly as possible, because you're trying to catch back up with the mothership and trying to get back on board. And it's so fun. Like, it's a really simple gameplay mechanic, like all of the, you know, learning how to do the gravity bounces. Like, when you click one mouse button, it pulls you in with gravity, and then when you let go, you zip zoom faster. And so, like, hitting the gravity on the downhill side and then letting go on the uphill, and just watching this character pick up so much steam. In some ways, it feels like, you know, the 3D Sonic game that we were all promised but never got, you know? And so it's kind of fun, kind of like that, but also kind of not. 99 cents, it's an awful lot of game for not very much. This might be the greatest game ever made. you will find people making that argument that Deus Ex is the greatest game ever in the history of the world. And it's kind of hard to argue with. Now look, I know that the graphics are a bit janky because it came out 22 years ago. It's an old game. But this is the greatest of all cyberpunk games, and quite possibly the greatest game ever made. There are stealth elements. There are RPG elements. There are, it's shootery. It's, cyberpunky. It's, like there's so many different ways to play it. And there are all these factions vying for the ability to rule the world, and you make the decisions as this crazy augmented human who is an agent of the government who also can go rogue, and depending on what you choose, and your decisions really, really matter. And so, yeah, if you love Mass Effect and those type of games, this is the granddaddy. This is the one that made it all happen. It's 97 cents for a game that a lot of people will tell you is the greatest game ever made. Yes, the graphics are old and kind of janky, and this game is desperately in need of a remake or a remaster. And I don't know why they've released multiple other games that people are kind of like, yeah, they're pretty good, I guess. I mean, like, I have really not spent a lot of time on the sequels because people are like, oh, it's good. It's not as good as the original. That's kind of what everybody will tell you about all of the Deus Ex sequels, that it's kind of disappointing that none of them picks up where this one left off. None of them do. And so that's kind of disappointing, but Deus Ex, no lie, it might be the greatest game ever made. And to get it for under $1 is insane. Devious Dungeon, this one is also a super amount of fun. It is action platformer hack and slash roguelike dungeon crawly type of game. And it is very satisfying. Like, controls are very, very tight. If you ever die, you'll know that it's your fault and not the game. It is so satisfying to kill all these enemies and pick up their coins and make it to the door, and then, go to the shop and try and upgrade your dudes so that the next time when you're facing off against some crazy boss, you'll be appropriately equipped. And it is a really, really good roguelike for 99 cents. There's also Devious Dungeon 2, which I believe is on sale for $2.99 right now. Also a very good game, also worth the pickup. Diggerman. This is very similar to Boulder Dash, if you've ever played the classic arcade and console game Boulder Dash. Where this one differs, you're digging diagonally, yes, but also, like, at first you've got to collect batteries to keep your headlamp on, because if you lose headlamp then you die. But there are different levels that you can get to, and once you get to a certain level, then you're digging down, and there are other things for you to collect that are going to be beneficial for you. There are a ton of unlockables. And I think this one started out as a mobile game, but that is not a knock on it at all. Remember, Skyforce started out as a mobile game, and it's my favorite shooter ever. So don't be thrown by the fact that Diggerman has kind of a mobile game vibe. It is still very, very fun. Very, very good, well put together, and it's one of those like, okay, one more, 49 cents, well worth the price of admission. Ding Dong XL is the most you can get out of the least. Like, it's kind of hard to tell you, to explain satisfactorily that this game, you are literally just going back and forth. across the screen. And that's all it is. Except for you pick up all these crazy pickups, and then like you can upgrade your thing that you're shooting back and forth across the screen, and different things will have different effects and whatnot. And if you get really close to one, you get more points. And if you hit ones that you're not supposed to hit, then you die. But if you get the cool power-ups, then you can, it's just, there's a lot to this game. There are leaderboards, there are, various game modes, and it's an awful lot of fun. And it gets really hard the later you get in the levels. And it is 49 cents. It is the classic example of you take a simple idea and then perfect it. Make it as good as you can make it. Downwell. Downwell is a beautiful high contrast game. Everything's black, white, or red, but you're going down a well, and you got guns on your boots, and so you can stomp enemies, you can shoot enemies, you can pick up power-ups, you can pick up loots and whatnots as you go down this well. It's exactly what the name implies, and it's pretty hard, but it's super fun. Devolver Digital, what are you doing on this list again? Oh, just like selling all the games that are like really high quality budget titles? Yeah, thanks Devolver Digital. It's 98 cents for Downwell. Fishing Adventure may very well be the greatest 49 cents that I've ever spent in my life. It is right now 49 cents. And it is a great fishing simulator. And here's the fun thing about it, is that there's a ton of unlockables, a ton of achievements that you can get, and there are tournaments every like half hour, all day, every day, anytime, day or night, every 30 minutes. There's a new tournament starting, and it's massively multiplayer. So, like, depending on the time of day, if you want to play this thing at 2 in the morning and be playing in a tournament against players from Thailand, you can do that. And they will be there. Now, granted, it's not going to have, like, 30,000 people online playing it. What you'll have is, like, you're playing against these 10 other players. But you know what? Like, it's still competition, and it's still fun, and it's still so satisfying when you win. And the tournaments differ. Biggest fish, most fish caught, heaviest fish, total weight of all fish, like the different categories that you're going for. There are different parts of the world that you can be fishing in, fishing for different things. There are tons of baits, rods, reels, hooks, lines, all the stuff, lures that you can unlock. And it is so satisfying, and it is 49 cents. I'm telling you, it's a good time. Glorkian Warrior, The Trials of Glork. This is, if you have ever enjoyed Galaga, Galaxian, those type of old school arcadey space shooters, this is like that, but crazy, because a giant robot head could come and turn everything into cake at any point. And you get these crazy power-ups. You get the super lasers and tennis balls and basketballs and the flarf gun that shoots flarfs. And like it says, you're going to die a lot, but you're also going to get power-ups, and you're going to get better and better at it as you go along. And it's so much fun. Yeah, it's all of a sudden Tetris pieces. These two characters will make fun of you every time you die, and it's so funny, and it's so much fun, and it's really, really well done. 59 cents for Glorkian Warrior, The Trials of Glork. Very, very highly recommended. Grab Lab. I don't really like a lot of like just pure puzzle type games, where it's just like, here's a single screen, puzzle your way through. A lot of times I'm like, ugh, I'm bored. Do I have to play this? But this one is so inventive and so quirky and kooky and funny and fun. And there's so many heroes to unlock and different abilities and stuff that it really keeps you on your toes, because the gameplay keeps changing and you keep having to do new things as you go along. 49 cents for Grab Lab. Hero Siege. This is one where it's like, what? It can't be that cheap. That's like a super quality title. Hero Siege is a Diablo clone that is, some would say, a little too close. It even uses the Diablo font. But yeah, obviously gameplay elements are not exactly Diablo, but it's the same, like, point and clicky, hack and slashy type of stuff with, you know, character upgrades and whatnot. But it's also procedurally generated roguelike fun. So if you ever wished that original Diablo had way more crazy upgrades and weapons and stuff, and that it was also roguelike, Hero Siege for 69 cents, my favorite number of cents. Hypergalactic Psychic Table Tennis 3000. Now that's how to name a game. This one, they took Pong. They took Pong and they made it even more so. So it's got RPG elements in a Pong game, if you can imagine. And it's surprisingly deep, with a lot of unlockables and characters and stuff and attributes. Like, look at this. All these upgrades and whatnots and stats and things for Pong. It's super cool. It's really, really a fun game. And if you like your retro games, 49 cents, you cannot go wrong with the Hypergalactic Psychic Table Tennis 3000. Iron Fisticle. So I showed you Iron Cryptical in the other video. This is the slightly more budget-minded. It only has 2-player co-op, but it is the same exact. Like, it's easy to confuse Iron Cryptical and Iron Fisticle because they are so very similar. The only difference is you get more multiplayer madness with Cryptical than you do with Fisticle, but Fisticle, you get it on the cheap. And you just face relentless hordes of crazy amounts of enemies coming through, and you have the power of choice as to where you're going to go. It's 89 cents. You're making your way through this massive dungeon, room by room, clearing it out. And, you know, when you go through one door, you might end up in a shop. When you go through another door, you might end up facing off against a mini-boss. It's kind of random that way, and it's a lot of fun. A whole lot of fun. It is just frantic, twin-stick, shooty, dungeon crawler madness. Very similar to Gauntlet, but also crazier than the original Gauntlet. So if that sounds like the kind of thing you like, 89 cents, you cannot go wrong with the Iron Fisticle. Just Cause. Just Cause. I've told you about Just Cause 2 and 3, about how you have all these crazy grapple abilities, or you can just grapple onto a car and whatnot. This is very similar to Grand Theft Auto, only you're overthrowing the governments in Central American countries. So, yeah, historically accurate. But it's a lot of fun. Big open world shooter game. Ton of stuff to do in this game. You can play through the story mode. You can go rogue and just do whatever you want to do. It's a lot of fun. Very Grand Theft Auto vibes. And 97 cents on this bad boy. Montaro and Montaro Re, or RE. These games are basically both the same game. Montaro is 69, my favorite number of cents. Montaro RE is also my favorite number of cents. What this game is, it is the ultimate in casual. You're just auto-scrolling to the right as this corgi, and you unlock different costumes, and you're going through and you're collecting coins, and you are stealing schoolgirls' underwear. That's the thing that dogs do. You take in their pantsuit. Watch this. Whoop! Took her pantsuit right off of her. Anyway, it's kind of ridiculous, and it has the most chill theme song that you're ever going to hear that you just somehow don't get tired of. Like, when I hear that song kick in, I'm like, oh my God, that's a banger. Anyway, 69 cents. The original Montaro is slightly more limited in the number of unlockables. Montaro RE has slightly more unlockables, but they are, in essence, the same game. Mutant Mudds Deluxe. Now, this is a game that is best played on the 3DS. But if you don't have a 3DS, then play it here. Because what this game does, it's a platform shooter, but you do this whole jumping into the foreground and into the background, and it's really, really cool how they design these levels, and it's a beautiful love letter to a lot of vintage gaming styles. All of the secret level area unlockables will play as if they were made for different retro consoles. So there's a Game Boy level and an NES level, and and they really, really make it feel like those old console games. And it's got a lot of charm, a lot of character, and it's so much fun. It's only 99 cents. Notebook Artillery. This game was exactly what I wanted when I wanted it. One day I was remembering how much fun I used to have playing the Gorilla game in QBasic. If you know what I'm talking about, I'm sorry about how old you are. Like, we getting old, friend. But yeah, the gorilla game in QBasic were just two gorillas chucking exploding bananas back and forth, and you had to guess the angle and the trajectory and the power and whatnot. Well, this one, very similar thing. You decide how much gunpowder and the angle, and then you take turns shooting back and forth. You can play against a friend. You can play against the CPU, and it is so satisfying to take out the enemy cannon with your cannon. It's a very simple game, very simple, like, drawn out on lined paper on a notebook. Like, it's exactly what it tells you that it is. It's 99 cents, and it's a lot of fun. Over 9,000 zombies. Holy cow. This game is an awful lot of fun. It is exactly what it tells you. It is over 9,000 zombies. Well over. And it's just constant, frantic twin stick shooter madness. Now, in between the waves, you have a chance to set up fortifications, to build little walls, and to set up sentries and other things to help you fend off against the over 9,000 zombies that you are going to meet. And it gets crazy hectic, crazy fast. And you get weapon upgrades and all sorts of different things that you can shoot them with, and and different upgrades to your ability to build stuff over time. And this is true online multiplayer co-op. I have played it online with a person I've never even met before, who is like, hey, we both have this game. let's play it together. And I played it together with him, and we had a blast. It was a good time. 51 cents for a super duper fun twin stick shooter with building elements, and it's, yeah, you kill so many zombies. It's great. Pixel Star Hero. I couldn't believe how deep this game was at its price point, because basically what you're doing, you're going around to different planets, and different planets will be laid out in different ways, and they'll try and kill you in a number of other different ways. And then you come back, and then you use the resources and money and things that you picked up to build up your base. And by building up your base, you become stronger and stronger. You research more things, and then the next time you go out, you're even better equipped. And so there are some planets where you find out pretty quickly, like, I need to get back on my ship immediately. I am not equipped to handle the danger here, you know, until you've leveled up. And so, yeah, RPG elements, roguelike elements, you know, with the procedurally generated worlds, and you're taking your heroes and you're building up your base, and you are exploring other worlds. And there's a lot of depth to this game, and it's only 49 cents. 99 cents usually. So it's a lot of game for not very much. My daughter saw me play this game and immediately was like, I want that. Because Prison Chainball Massacre is exactly what it sounds like. You're an escaped prisoner, and you look like just a line segment, the stripey, and you've got your prison ball, and you're just taking out guards, you know, right, left, and center. And you just kill wave after wave after wave of guards who are coming after you. And as you do that, you're picking up cash and stuff, and then you can use that to upgrade your ball. And you can get all kinds of balls. There's like a basketball that's super bouncy that does a lot of damage, and there's like a ton of unlockables and stuff. And it's a crazy like little physics game where you're swinging this thing around, and you've got to, you know, get yourself room so that you can swing it while the guards are trying to crowd you in to make it so that you can't swing your ball around. And the funny thing is that, like, you have to watch two things, because as you're swinging this ball around, they're also coming after you. And if they grab you, even while your ball is swinging, like, you could end up back in the slammer that I guess you're still in because you're trying to escape. Anyway, it is super basic gameplay that gets more and more frantic and involved as you go along and unlock more and more types of chain balls. So 99 cents, well worth it. Absolutely. Okay, here's a really good game that has a terrible title. This, if you like games like Spelunky and Cave Blazers and whatnot, this is kind of like that. It's not procedurally generated, so all the levels are intentionally designed, but what they are they're very puzzly, and you have to find your way through, and there is an optimal way to do each level, and sometimes it's going to take you multiple chances to try and figure out, how do I do this the best way? And get all the unlockables and get all the secrets and find all the areas and do all the things. And you got your little drill and whatnot, and you get bombs and you blow stuff up and you know, take out certain blocks. But it's really puzzly because, like, if I take out this block, then what's going to happen to this block? And will I not be able to take that one out? And don't I need to take that one out to get this thing up here? You know, so you're constantly having to think about this strategy and the way that you are making it through this world. Terrible name. Secrets of Deep Earth Shrine. That doesn't sound like a game, really. and it doesn't sound like what it is, which is a really well-designed mining platformer dungeon crawlery type game, which is super much fun. If you like Spelunky and stuff like that and want to play one that's not specifically roguelike in the same way, Secrets of Deep Earth Shrine for only 99 cents. I guess it's not even on sale. This was supposed to be one's on sale. It's regularly 99 cents. Space Mayhem. Space Mayhem is very much like the original granddaddy of all space shooters. Well, Asteroids, obviously, but Space War comes to mind on this one. But yeah, it is old school high score attack, but there are a ton of different spaceships to unlock, a ton of different power-ups that you can pick up, and it just gets more and more and more frantic as you go along, and insane, and more stuff to shoot at, and more stuff shooting at you, and you've got a bunch of different power-ups, but you got to use them judiciously to make your way through the level. And so there's some strategy involved as well. Very fun, even though, like, once again, classic twist on the old single screen space shooter, and it is 99 cents. What? I keep picking these ones that are not even on sale, that are just regularly 99 cents. What am I doing? Well, I put these together. Like, these were the last group of games that I grabbed. So, Squidlet. Squidlet looks like a Game Boy game, and you could see it doing all the Game Boy things, and it's very much, that's what it is. This is a platforming adventure game, you know, similar to your Marios and whatnots. Actually, I don't know, it has more of a Kirby feel to me, even though you're not eating the enemies and absorbing their powers. But yeah, as you go through this world, there are different enemies that you're going to face off against, and different gameplay styles that you're going to get yourself involved in. The basic thing of jumping and shooting ink balls is pretty well laid out, pretty simple, pretty easy to pick up on. But yeah, 55 cents. The level design is great in this game, and so very highly recommended. Super Dungeon Boy. Oh my goodness, I had a lot of fun with this one. This is a yeah, very much a classic, you know, very much like Montezuma's Revenge, if you played that game. You know, the old school Atari game. You're going through these caves, you're picking up these power-ups, and you're trying not to die, which is increasingly difficult as you go along. It is only 49 cents, and it is an awful lot of fun on the Super Dungeon Boy. Tetropunk. It's Tetris, but it's also cyberpunk, but it's also electro swing soundtrack, which you will either love or it will drive you crazy. But if you've ever wanted to play Tetris that feels like it's playing on Nixie tubes, this is your game right here. Very atmospheric, very interesting, but it's Tetris, and it's 59 cents. Very fun game. Ubermash. All the Ubermash games are on sale right now. You can buy the entire bundle. This Ubermash Black, which I have played, is but a lowly 49 cents. What is it? Well, this is a frantic arena bullet hellish type of game where everyone is trying to kill you, and you start off with just your melee weapon, a big old sword, and you're swinging it at people, and when you start killing them, you start picking up their guns and ammo, and then you start to where you can shoot at them. And so you're constantly having to manage, like, between wielding this big old sword and wielding guns, against people who are wielding guns at you. And you're just trying to stay alive until the counter runs out. And it is so much harder than you would think. But yeah, 49 cents for just the Ubermash Black. But for $8, you can get Ubermash, Ubermash 3, 5, 7, the soundtrack, Black, Omega, Santicide, and Wraith. This one, it really, really has a banging soundtrack that perfectly fits the gameplay and the gameplay style. And it is an awful lot of game for 49 cents. I really, really enjoy it and highly recommend it. Vector Wars. This one was exactly what I wanted it to be. I was like, oh man, there's no way that this could possibly be like a really solid Battlezone clone. But it is. That's exactly what it is. You know, cool vector graphics, cyber tanks shooting each other, getting power-ups, trying to survive against wave after wave of other tanks coming after you. And it is very fun and very satisfying, and it's only 99 cents, 90% off for Vector Wars. Almost done, people. Whiz Odd. Whiz Odd is a dungeon crawler. Every single level feels like a dungeon right out of Zelda, you know, the original Zelda game. It has a similar vibe where you gotta like kill all the enemies to open the next door, or you know, move a thing to find a key to open the next door. And so you're just constantly trying to find your way through this endless labyrinth of different things, and then occasionally you'll come across shops, and occasionally you'll come across mini bosses, and then big bosses, and it's just constant, roguelike, procedurally generated, but fun, very fun. 69, my favorite number of cents. Last but not least, the most ridiculous, over-the-top game on the entire list, Zombies on a Plane. This is what you want it to be when you hear that it's Zombies on a Plane. There are 3 ways to play this. You can either be out on the wing, shooting the zombies on the plane, which is insane. You can be flying the plane and trying to shake the zombies off as they're like, you know, ripping off wings and stuff for who knows why. Or you can be in the plane, you know, battling your way through endless waves of zombies. And no matter which way you play it, it's endless waves of zombies. Now, I can't understand this mixed review because, like, look, you are paying 54 cents. It's only $5 normally, and it is exactly what it tells you that it is. Now, I happen to have seen that you can buy the deluxe version for under $1, and that comes with Zombies on a Plane, the digital art book, the soundtrack, Zombies on a Plane Santa, and Zombies on a Plane Helicopter. And I was like, what? There's more? And so I've added this deluxe version into the cart, and I am buying it. That's what's in my shopping cart right now, because it's just mindless fun. It's stupid, mindless fun. When you heard about the movie Snakes on a Plane, did you think, oh, this is going to win an Academy Award? Or did you think, this is going to be mindless fun? Because if you thought this is going to be mindless fun, then you probably enjoyed the movie. Same way here. Same exact way here. If you expect mindless fun, you're going to get it. You're going to get it a whole bunch. And it is a good time. A really, really good time. Zombies on a Plane. All this for just 54 cents. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if you survived, congratulations to you. But that is my roundup of games. That is all the fun you can have for under $1 on Steam during the Steam Summer Sale 2022. And that is it for this one, ladies and gents. I'll see you in the next one. Okay, bye.